name's Elmar Cobos. I am the son of Beatriz and Ricardo Cobos. We migrated here from the beautiful town of Aquila Valley in about 1969. My parents, my mom was from Navajo, Sonora. My dad was from Chihuahua. They decided to come together, get married, and come to the United States. I was one of 8 children. There were 7 boys and 1 girl. We lived in a basically a 1-bedroom trailer, and we all slept on the floor. That was a common practice. I think that's why none of my family members have bad backs. I thought that was normal, didn't understand it wasn't normal until later on in life. When you do a sleepover with somebody and they say you can sleep in that bed, and you're like, what? My mom, I look at it now, and she just making sure that we had something in our belly. My dad was a custodian. He worked 30 years at the Desert District. When my dad used to get mad, he goes, well, I'm gonna pull you out of Peoria and you're gonna go to Desert. And man, that would straighten us out in a second. We grew up in a cool neighborhood, large families. So when you grew up in a neighborhood like that, there was a closeness from each family. We kind of celebrated birthdays together. We kind of lived in our own little life. So what that means to me was I had more brothers, more sisters. The Zaragozas, the Gutierrez was another big family. They were our mentors. The older brothers kind of took us under their wing because we belonged in the same neighborhood. The Boys Club, which was instrumental in my upbringing, which was downtown where the women's club is currently, kept us off the streets. We had a 9 o'clock curfew. As a kid, you're kind of upset about it, but now as you grow up, it was probably the best thing for us because nothing happens good after 10 o'clock at night. Growing up, we didn't have a supermarket, so the other alternative was there was a store called Lucky's, which was in Sun City. The other parts of it, the other stores were the Salibas, necessity stuff. You had the garage was Wilhelm Garage, and then we had a burger shop on the corner of Grand Avenue that sold the 25-cent hamburgers. We didn't have a McDonald's, we didn't have anything. We had what was called Tasty Freeze. Back in my days, if you collected bottles, the big bottles were 10 cents, the little bottles got 5 cents. You come in, you hand them into the store, and they would just give you money. So that was an easy way to, if you were hungry and you wanted a burger, you just got on your bike and you rode around town, and it didn't take you much to find some bottles. The big change was when the big supermarket, they were laying the concrete, we were all looking, and this thing called Smitty's was gonna open up.
Smitty's is always working hard to give you the most for your money.
Like Libby canned vegetables, 3 for $1. Choose Smitty's.
The convenience of just going to the store to pick up milk was a lot easier. I had the opportunity to watch Smitty's get built, and when here last year, when it went down, there's part of Peoria has now left us. And it's important to me that we take the time to enjoy the different locations in Peoria that are still up and running, and take the time to make sure that they're appropriately taken care of. So I started at school at Central Elementary, which is located in downtown Peoria. After Central, we all went to Peoria Elementary. Peoria Elementary was basically Peoria High School and the elementary school put together. By the time you got to 7th and 8th grade, the classes faced the high school. So you look out there and you would say, man, next year I'm gonna be over there, and next year I'm gonna be there. You would go to church and you look to your right and your teacher would be there. So my parents were having teacher conferences, you know what I mean? If you did something wrong that week, you didn't want her to come up and talk to you. You don't see that too often now. Our central part of our upbringing was the school, because all activities were at the school. They had the 4th of July watermelon bust. They provided services for kids, Boy Scouts. Basketball season, we played in the old gym. During the summer league baseball, we played here at the school. A lot of the town people that didn't have kids would come watch. So you're out there pitching and you're looking, and then you look over and you say, hey, that's Mr. Tang. But that was kind of like the central location of all our activities. What we were going through during that time was what was called double sessions. Double sessions meant you either go to the AM school or the PM school. How did they do that? Well, they divided Peoria. The famous train tracks came into play again. If you lived on the other side of the train tracks, you went in the morning session. Our side of the train tracks went in the afternoon sessions. Everything was shared, so you would see like, wait a minute, this is Rudy Rojas, and Rudy would be from the other side of the tracks, but he would sit in the same desk I sat, so we would leave notes for each other. Hey, Rudy, what's up, dude? So the double sessions was what divided us. It caused a rift between a lot of the kids' friendships. And I remember Mr. Mathis talking about minority representation. I was asked to change my classes, basically. And they wanted me to enter the FFA program and the ROTC program. If you were a Mexican American, you always looked over there and you go, wow, that's pretty cool what they're doing. But then you jump back, you know what I mean? It was like, wow, we don't belong over there. Due to encouragement on my part, we could get some kids to come over and say, well, if Cobos is taking it, then it's cool. We can go over there. We could take it. And that's what ended up happening. This one experience was that we FFA, you had to raise an animal. So I got to raise a pig. Hell, it was hard enough to feed my family, let alone, bring a pig along and then try to feed that. Again, the community came together. They came up with these ideas where I would go help the veterinarian. In return, he provided vet services for my pig. So that took care of that. Now the feed. Stockman's Feeds just opened up in Peoria in 67th. It sat there all by itself in the middle of the field. And he looks at me, he says, okay, come work a few Saturdays. So every time I had an excuse, there was always somebody in the community that would match it and say, well, no. The community helped raise our kids. And there was so many different people in our lives that were influential. They didn't even know they were influential. If you look at my senior bio, I said I was going to get into law enforcement, and eventually I was going to be the head wrestling coach at Peoria High School. That was my two goals, and I got to do them both. And I was a warden at Adobe Mountain Black Canyon facility, which was the largest facility in Arizona that housed juvenile delinquents. 28 years of wonderful years working there. Learned a lot. When I retired, there was a phone call from Bobby Gonzalo again, come back into my life. They need a coach here. And he says, but you're gonna coach wrestling? And I said, great, next thing you know, I'm doing it. I transitioned special ed kids from high school to the grown-up world. I do have kids that want to attend junior college. I have tons of kids that go into trade school. Getting them through the door and assisting them is what I try to do. Allow people to help you. I think that's the biggest thing that I try to teach kids. So there's a lot of good people that want to help you. The impact that the community has on kids, I'm living proof that the community of people that I was around helped me become who I am and give it to our youth, because that's who's going to be running our town.